Kia ora everyone, you are back with Auckland's biggest Blues fan and Auckland's biggest Highlanders fan. Cedric, we're here to do some predictions, but before we get into that for Super Rugby Pacific, can you run through what happened in round 4?
So as you guys know, Ellen and I gave our predictions. So the first game was the Crusaders versus the Hurricanes. The Crusaders came up short in that one, losing 10-14. My prediction was right. I did have them winning by 7 though, but the Hurricanes scraped away winning by 4. How did you feel about that game?
I had picked the Crusaders by 3, and it looked like that was all on until like the 76th minute, and then the Hurricanes came through and pulled through, getting a win in Christchurch, which is pretty big. So that was a big old for me. Yeah, my South Island loyalties are really being tested.
Yeah, I think what also didn't help was when Riley missed that first kick.
Oh,
He like shanked it. I think that put a pressure on him, and I think he was a bit nervous. But yeah, they definitely could have won. But they remain winless. And this week, we'll talk about it. Anyways, the next game we had the Rebels versus the Reds. My predictions was the Reds by 10, but they ended up winning big in this one, winning 53-26. How did you feel about this game?
It was a statement from the Reds. Huge statement. And yeah, I'd picked the Reds. Like you, I hadn't picked a big scoreline just because we hadn't really seen any so far this season. So the Reds machine rolls on for another week.
Yeah, they're definitely rolling, and the Rebels, just too many errors, eh? We'll talk about it soon, but it was just frustrating to watch. And then, the Reds just kind of pounced on the big score reflected it. And for our next game, we had the Force and Moana. Moana winning their second game, 22-14. I had them winning by 3. What was your prediction?
I had picked 2. I think we were similar, and then they kind of pulled through more than we thought. So hopefully that builds a bit of momentum for them moving forward.
Exactly.
It's been a bit stop-start.
Yeah,
Last week you had said that you weren't sure if they were an 80-minute team. How do you feel about that on reflection this week?
They definitely played a lot better. I still have my doubts, being that they're new to this whole winning thing, so I don't want them getting too ahead of themselves and then just going back to their old ways. But they performed well. It was good to see. And for our next game, the Highlanders versus the Brumbies. The one time I put my faith in the Highlanders, they ended up losing. They lost to the Brumbies 21-27. Oh, it was a really good game, though. But my prediction was the Highlanders by 7. They lost by 6. How did you feel about that game?
Yeah, I think I'd picked them by 5 or 6 to win, and they obviously did. And I thought the home advantage would pull through under the roof. So yeah, disappointing. I'm sure they'll be hoping to correct that this week, but it's going to be a tough ask. Tough ask for the Landers, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It was, but that was such a good game. Our next game we had the Chiefs versus the Drua. I think we both had the Chiefs winning. I had them winning by 10. Although the Fijian Drua lost, the score was 46-29. I thought they looked really good, eh? What did you think about that?
I think that was just like, if you ever wanted to show someone an advertisement for what good can come from attacking rugby and having that mindset, it was that game. Like pure entertainment. The Ndrua, yes, it was a loss, but I think they would have learned so much from it. The Chiefs also would have learned a lot. Sad to see ALB go down. Glad he's okay. But yeah, I think a good win for the Chiefs, a good learning for the Ndrua. And I think I also had the Chiefs by 10. So that was good.
Yeah. And then for the last game of that round, we had the Waratahs and the Blues. The Blues really needed to impress me this game. They didn't. They ended up winning 12-10. Waratahs easily could have won that game. How did you feel?
I don't know what the heck the Blues were doing that game, but I guess you've got to be able to win the tough ones where not everything goes your way, and that's what happened in the end. Wasn't a particularly attractive game, a bit of a grudge match in a weird way. And again, I guess that means that this matchup against the Crusaders this weekend is going to be extra spicy coming off the back of that.
And yeah, it's going to be a good match this weekend. And we'll speak about it soon, but the Crusaders, man, although they're 0-4, I still can't look past him.
I know.
But yeah, so we'll get into this week's prediction.
Totally.
Yeah.
So first game up, we've got the Hurricanes taking on the Rebels. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? Where are you leaning?
you can't look past the Canes. If you're against the Canes in this one, I don't know what you've been watching. They're on a roll, 4 from 4. The Rebels, yeah, they struggled last week. I stated before, Carter Gordon and Andrew Callaway have been playing very good, but I think to stop this Canes team, they need to play perfect, as in no mistakes. Yeah, and like you said, like you brought up to me previously, Brad Shields is back. But I think just overall the Canes will be too good. There's no Ruben Love, but I'm a big fan of Harry Godfrey. So yeah, Hurricanes by I'm gonna say 12 plus. So
Poor.
that's how I feel. Yeah, how are you
Throwing
feeling?
it down. Do you think that because I guess something that's been really impressive about the Canes this season is that loose forward trio, and I don't think anyone had even noticed that Brad Shields, the captain who is returning to the Hurricanes this season, hasn't even played a game. That's how
Yeah,
strong they've been. So, what impact do you think he can have, and do you think he has a bit to prove?
I think he does because, like you said, they've been playing well, and I think a lot of us haven't really noticed he hasn't played. But yeah, this Canes team, this fourth track, yeah, they're playing really well. Braden Yose, he's
Oh, he's on.
yeah, he's one heck of a player, but yeah, definitely he'll bring experience to this team, having played a few caps for England, and I think this team just goes from strength to strength, But
Mm.
yeah, the Canes will get this one definitely.
I
Yeah.
agree. Canes all day, baby. I didn't think I'd be so hard on the Canes train this season, but alas, here we are. They are certainly proving to be the goods. I had my key matchup as being Andrew Callaway, who's in incredible form, against Ruben Love, who's also in incredible form. But the Hurricanes have rung the changes this weekend. Perhaps that could leave a little bit of an opportunity for the Rebels. But I do think that the Canes will be too strong. I think also Geordie Barrett is back this week, so he'll be itching to return and probably going to be a really huge part of what I hope and expect is going to be a clinical Hurricanes performance. I've said Canes by 11.
What, 12 plus, same thing.
Look at us. Look at
Same
us.
thing.
Next game that we have is the Brumbies taking on Moana Pacifica. How are you feeling about this one? Do you think Moana Pacifica are going to be able to carry on with this momentum?
Ah, I think they probably needed to do a little bit more for me in last week's matchup because the Brumbies yeah had a very good win against your Highlanders, might I add. But yeah, they did scrape away for a win against the Landers. Yeah, and like I said, Moana, now they've won 2 games. This is like unfamiliar territory for them. So now they're kind of on a high, and can they kind of build off of that, or they fall back into like what we're used to seeing? But yeah, this Brumbies backline, Lolesio, Corey two. I'm gonna say it again. I think he's the fastest in the comp. When he ran down the sideline, beating Ratsumatsuvuki Leapkins, and he's not no slouch. So like to do that against him, it was crazy, But yeah, I do have the Brumbies winning. I have them by 10. But I think Moana can keep it competitive. But like I said, I don't know if they're an 80-minute team yet, so we'll see. How are you feeling?
I think the Brumbies are building into their work, right? Like we kind of at the start of the season were saying, what Brumbies outfit is this? This is quite disappointing. But we're slowly starting to see the signs. And I think, you know, every conversation you and I have had about Super Rugby so far this season, you have brought up Corey Tools. So he's obviously sticking. He's incredible. I think I was listening to a podcast yesterday and they were saying he does a 10.7 100 meters, which is outrageous. So he is speedy and he's becoming a real key in their machine. I think also notable this week. So yeah, the Brumbies are playing at home. But so I'd back them at home, but Darcy Swain is their captain this week. So I will not be sending them any well wishes, although I do think they will come out on top. Moana Pacifica, notably, no Julian Savia this week either. So I do think that that all plays into the hands of the Brumbies. I've said that they are going to be winning by 7 points, which I think would be a reasonable scoreline. Awesome. Look at us go. We're on song. We're consistent at the moment. No main points of difference. And we've got, I think this is a great matchup. The Ndrua versus the Waratahs, and this is happening in Fiji. How do you see this one going?
I think I've learned my lesson. I'm never betting against the draw if they're at home. Yeah, I think, like the Waratahs did lose in a close one against the Blues last week. They definitely could have won. Max Jorgensen is back at fullback, shifting Mark. Noanga Nitsawaze back to the wing. But yeah, like I said, the draw did lose in a high-scoring affair against the Chiefs, but some of the tries they scored, and in broken play, I do think they're one of the better teams. But like I said, draw at home, it can't go against it. They've done it twice against the Crusaders. I'm not betting against them again. I have the draw by 3.
Look at this for
How are
growth.
you feeling?
I'm the same. You just can't bet against the Fijians at home, particularly, they talk about their 16th man, all their supporters who are there backing them, and I think that adds a whole nother level of intensity to their game. I think the other thing to factor in with that trip to Fiji is the Waratahs have had a very, very tough start to the season. They've had the Blues, they've had the Crusaders, they've also had the Landers and the Reds. So that's like a pretty tough run, and then to have to go to Fiji. So I think they're going to be feeling a little bit knackered, and that's going to be hard. For me, the key matchup, Nwangani Tawase, he's obviously Fijian, but playing for the Waratahs in Australia, up against Ravatomanda. Now, it's not necessarily a one-on-one. They're going to be tackling each other kind of matchup, but to see what both of these two right wingers are going to do with hopefully a lot of space and broken play, I think it's going to be really exciting and a really good measure for each of them respectively. As I said earlier, the Ndrua have probably learnt heaps from that trip to Hamilton. That was a big game for them, and I think they're going to come out on top by 4 points.
You can't bet against him at home.
You can't. And maybe we'll come back next week and be like, we should have done the opposite, but here we are. We're sticking to our guns. Okay, this is a tough one for me. My team, the Highlanders, they're traveling to FMG Stadium. They're taking on the Chiefs. How do you see this one going? Is it an inevitability?
Okay. So the Chiefs did bounce back, as we know, against the draw. Highlanders losing a close one against the Tars, and we had the Highlanders winning that. But I honestly think it will be close. One thing I saw was that Reece Petrel returns, and I'm a massive fan of Reece. He's been playing incredible this season, and I think he will be a difference in that. And with Billy Harmon's form, especially what he showed last week, 26 tackles attempted, 26 made. Yeah, he looked like a madman last week. But as good as the Highlanders are right now, I think the Chiefs will be a little too good at home as well. And I have the Chiefs winning by 5 in a close contest. So how are you feeling?
I think I'm backing my Landers, and here's why. I think the Chiefs I know they had the slip up against the Reds, but I think they're going to be coming in cocky for this. And I think the Highlanders know this is their chance to pounce. Led by their informed captain, Billy Harmon. Like you said, 26 tackles attempted last week, 26 tackles made. For context, people, Peter Steph du Toit in that heroic performance in the World Cup final that everyone talks about, he made 28. This is Billy Harmon down in Dunedin, 26. Also, that try he scored, probably my try of the week. He was just carrying defenders with him over the line. What a valiant effort. That's the type of leader you want. You've already signalled the return of Reece Petrel. I think his matchup against DMAC is going to be very interesting. 2 number 10s who play very different styles, but they're also very much leading the attacking structure of their teams. And I think the winner of this game is going to be the winner of that number 10 battle. So yeah. I'm saying that Reece Petrel's going to do it. The Highlanders are going to win by 6. I also want to give a quick shout out. Okay. I've got to back them. This is what being a fan's about. But I will say, very exciting, notable return on the bench for the Chiefs. And Moni Narawa is back. So that is going to be very good. He's been injured, I guess, for a long time since the World Cup. So it's going to be good to see him back and out there. I think that will be a highlight of the game. 6 points. We'll see you next week. We'll come back to this. Okay, then we turn to probably the game of the round, the one that's got the most history behind it. We've got all the promo happening. The heritage jerseys are out. The Blues versus the Crusaders at Eden Park. What's going to happen, Cedric? This is your time to shine.
Okay. Now, if there's one team that I hate going against, it's the Crusaders. No matter what, they always seem to just beat us. It could be there, it could be at home. Yeah. And although they haven't won a game yet, as everyone knows.
Just say it one more time.
They're still dangerous. I had to. They're still really dangerous. And they easily could have beaten the Canes last week. And the Canes were at the top. And the way the Blues have been performing, yeah, it hasn't been the best. A few key points. Rico Ioane is out, which brings Bryce Heem into the starting lineup. And I think I saw one of your videos. Riley Hohepa retains that starting spot, which is interesting. I thought they maybe wanted to change, but I think they'll want to just stick with 1 first 5 to see how it goes throughout the season. And I did say if the Crusaders get their first one of the season, it will be against the Blues, but the Blues will win by 3.
Oof. Bold.
Yeah.
Bold.
Yeah, by 3. right there.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about with this one. I think you mentioned already number 10, Riley Hohepa. He had a pretty abysmal start. You could tell he was pretty nervous. But then I think towards the end of the game, he was really putting it all out there. I saw he did an amazing kind of chip and chase, and then he was the first guy there on defense, and he kind of took 2 tackles, I think he did, in like the space of a second. It was really, really awesome. So hopefully he grows in confidence, and the backing of being able to start another game is good for the Crusaders. I do think the Crusaders were a lot better. They were up against a very good Hurricanes outfit. I think the pieces are slowly starting to come together, but probably not at the speed that Crusaders fans are, 1, used to, and 2, would like. I think Owen Franks, I don't know what the heck he did. What was it last week about yellow carded after 80 minutes? Like, I think Kalen Boshier for the Chiefs as well. But Owen Franks had an absolute brain explosion. So he's red carded now, 2 weeks out. See you later. Patrick Tuipulotu playing his 100th cap. Big motivator for the Blues. But I still think the Crusaders are going to do it. Because they just have that history with the Blues. I think they're going to do it.
Yeah, it's just...
I didn't think last week that they could go 0 from 4. This week, I really don't think they can go 0 from 5. They've got to win at some point. They can't lose every game this season, and this is going to be it. I'm really
they won't lose every game. They'll lose the first 5 days. So
I'm really looking forward to the matchup up front. I think that's going to be a really good one. So you've got, for the Blues, you've got Offa, you've got Ricky Riccitelli, you've got Angus Tarval in the front row, and then for the Crusaders, you've got George Bauer, George Bell, and then Fletcher Newell. That's a really good matchup. Yep. That's going to be a biggie. So some big scrums, I imagine. And I guess we'll be seeing the teams trying to assert their dominance up front. Our South Islanders have to stick together. Crusaders by 2 is what I'm picking. A close one. I can't do it. I can't back the Blues.
You have to this one time.
This one time. No. Let's turn to the Reds and the Force. For me, I don't think this is the game where the Force break their losing streak. What do you reckon?
So I don't even want to talk about. I think the Reds are just way too good. Like, other than the Hurricanes, I think they're on par to be the best teams right now. The best team with the Canes. Just the attack, their backline, their forward pack. Everyone's playing so well. And after last week's performance, and the team they're playing this week, the Force, I think the Reds are gonna walk through them. That's how I see it. Like, yeah, not much to talk about. I think the Force, Donaldson and Tia have been playing very good, but the Reds, just too good. Seru Uru, Fraser McRae have impressed me, and Ross Fluke, who's probably my favorite 13 at the moment. He's on a roll, but I have the Reds 12 plus, 14 plus. I don't know. It'll be a big score.
A big
score.
How
are you feeling, Ella?
I've been a bit more restrained. I've said Reds by 8. I don't know why. Now thinking about it, that seems silly. It probably is going to be a blowout, unless we're going to have pie on our face next week. I wanted to give a quick shout out. There's a guy in the Force team called Harry Potter who's starting this week. I don't know who would do that to their kid, but
he's the winner. Yeah, Harry Potter's the winner.
Shout out Harry Potter. I hope you cross the line. I'm sure every commentator's dreamed of being like, and here comes Harry Potter scoring for the Force. So love that. But yeah, I think it's undeniable at this point. Liz Kiss has got the Reds hissing. It is shaping up to be a very strong season for them. Probably their strongest since they won the competition. What was that? 2011?
Yeah, Quade Cooper, Will Guinea.
Exactly.
Yeah,
wow, what an era. So yeah, I'm thinking Reds, I've said by 8, but let's see. It's probably going to be a bit of a blowout. Can we quickly touch on some breaking news from the NZ Herald today?
Ooh. Yes. Okay.
Sam Whitelock. That Scott Robertson has apparently been over to France doing some tiki touring, and he's gone and had a little chat with Sam Whitelock, and he said, "We want you to come back." What do you think of that? Is that a sign that Rays is maybe not ready to put the past in the past, or is it a really good move to kind of help develop some more younger players in order to kind of put them alongside this legend and be like, learn from this guy?
I think, because does he want him out of retirement to play?
Yeah, because he's in at is it Po? Top 14.
Yeah.
So he wants him to come back in order to play for the All Blacks. So I guess he'd have to come back for the Crusaders at the end of the season.
I think we just have to move on. I'd love him in the environment, but we need our young locks to come through because we need to establish that quickly. obviously it's post World Cup. We want to start building towards that. Obviously, we got tests this year against England, against I think do we have tests against South Africa?
Yeah, we've got 2 against South Africa in South Africa.
Yeah, in South Africa, right. So I think we need to build that locking partnership now. I'd love them in the environment though, just so the boys can learn. But in terms of playing international footy again, I think I'm good with where he left and what he's done in that jersey. But yeah, I'd love him in the environment though. What do you think?
I'm the same. I'm a bit unsure about bringing someone back. I tend to try and challenge like the idea that we're just building for a World Cup, right? So I'm like, well, if he comes back for 1 to 2 years and then he really helps other players and he's there as like a leader and with all that mana, then I think that's a good thing. But yeah, I could see it more being in like a consultancy kind of role. But if you were picking, let's say Sam Whitelock's not coming back, obviously Scott Barrett is the number 1 lock being picked. Today, at this hour, at this minute, based on everything we've seen in Super Rugby so far, who's your other starting lock for the All Blacks?
That's I think one player who stood out to me, who I've been a bit like 50-50 about throughout his All Black career, is Tupou Vai.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really impressed me this year. His attacking game, defensively and lineouts, he's doing his job really well. I would probably partner him with Scott Barrett, but then I also like Samipini Finau at lock. But I do know he plays as a loose forward, but I just think he brings a lot of aggression, such a big, strong, powerful guy. But I think in terms of locks, probably Vi. Yeah, right now. How are you feeling? Or who would you have?
I'm on the Manaki Selby Rickett train. I just think he looks like he's got it all going on, and I think he's been really impressive for the Chiefs this season. But I think Patrick Tuipulotu is entering the chat this weekend. He's obviously a bit older, but maybe we need that experience going through a transition. And, you know, injuries have not been kind to him recently, but I'm hoping that he's able to come out, make a statement. He's obviously a bit behind. He's got a few weeks to catch up on, but there's obviously potential there. I'm also a big backer of Puddy Parkinson, just because I think that is the best name happening in New Zealand rugby, so we need him in an All Blacks jersey. Also, side note, you know, in the Six Nations, they started putting names on jerseys.
On jerseys, yeah.
Yeah, I think as someone who's new or returning to watching Super Rugby and hasn't watched it in a while, there's obviously so many players to keep ahead on. I think we need to have the names on the jerseys in Super Rugby. That's petition to NZ Rugby, please. It would make...
That's something we should have done ages ago.
Right? I think so. But yeah, imagine, I suppose they'd just have Parkinson, but a full Puddy Parkinson.
Yeah.
Iconic. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what game are you looking forward to the most?
Yeah, it has to be the Blues Crusaders match. We are not losing. At all costs, we are winning this game. But the Crusaders do trip us up a lot, but yeah, it has to be that game. Eden Park, we can't lose. Paddy's 100th game? We're not losing. We're not losing. Yeah.
And you can't lose in those jerseys, right? Surely. They're so sick.
Surely not.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We'll see you back here next week for another round of
Thank you.
Super Rugby Pacific. Woo! Okay, let me stop recording.